Hello, everyone. So, I've been hearing a lot of feedback about identities, especially in the trans community, and people saying that some people aren't trans enough. You get the idea. So, I decided I'd make a video about the identity police. So, I've decided to start off with labels. Labels. So, there are certain people that think that our world would be a better place without labels, which I understand sort of their train of thought that if everyone just gave up all their labels and said we're all human beings and we'd sit around in a circle and sing kumbaya and there'd be no war. um but I don't agree, and I'll tell you why I don't agree. So first I have to talk about what labels are. So labels are very important for human beings in our history, the way that we think. I mean, our language is based on labels. My name is a way to label myself. I mean, this is a sweater. The idea of a sweater is a label. Uh, the word mother is a label for your primary caregiver when you're a kid. That has special significance and meaning. A friend is a label that you give to people that have helped you grow, that you've spent a lot of time around. And if we just gave up those very important labels, I mean, you'd lose a lot of the meaning and the significance, and then you'd never have another book in your life without this language built upon these labels. So you get the idea. And I thought it was interesting that in Inuit they have 20 different words for snow. So their whole idea about snow is completely different than me. Westerner. I grew up speaking English. I have one word for snow. I have one idea of snow, and they have 20 different ideas of snow. So labels are important. Okay, so moving on, the next idea of identity is deconstruction. I didn't have room to write the whole thing, but some people want to deconstruct all labels, all binary ideas, which again is a great thing, a great exercise to do every day, really, when you're thinking about the ideas of gender identity, about what is a man, what is a woman. You can deconstruct those two and say, well, really, what is a man, what is a woman? Why are they binary in our society? Do they have to be? These are great things to think about, but it's also important to know that you can't deconstruct everything. So here's why. So the primary deconstruction philosopher, his name was Jacques Derrida. He was a French philosopher who wrote a book about deconstruction in 1967, and he was the main proponent for it. But he also wanted people to know that when they're using this method, it's important to actually know that deconstructing everything is irresponsible in and of itself, because deconstruction disregards, he called the ethico-political, but basically ethnic and political boundaries that are set up in our history. And these implications goes against his philosophy to begin with. So basically, by deconstructing things, you are overlooking people's ethnic identity, their ethnic histories, and this is condescending. You shouldn't do it. Um, and yeah, so I guess the next thing I wanted to talk about was uh, identity and history. So I have a quote by Simone de Beauvoir, and I like her a lot. But in French, she wrote a book called The Second Sex, and the most famous quote in it is "On ne naît pas femme, on le devient," which means people aren't born women; they become women. Society makes them into their ideals of femininity and womanhood, and that basically our identity is based on our local history, and with our world becoming more bigger and more interconnected, some histories dominate over other people's cultural histories, and our identities are based on that. And I also like the idea that we have to discover ourselves. So we have to overcome all the social conditioning to realize who we've been all along. So you might have been raised with the idea that you're a certain gender, that you fit with a certain group more than another group, and as you get older and you meet more people, you learn new things and you embrace new ideas, and you truly realize who you were all along, because there was this blinder that say this is your mom, this is your dad, blinders that told you you had to be this certain thing. And then as you grow up, sometimes the blinders come off and you look to the left and look to the right. And you say, well, I actually fit more over to the left. Why didn't I realize that sooner? Because you had the blinders on. So that's my video about the identity police. Do not police other people's identities. They have the right to identify however they want to. People within the community might have their own ideas about their identity, but it is not their place to condescend and tell this person that they don't have a right to identify the way that they want to. Of course, I like to make things as simple as possible, but no simpler. And identity itself is complicated. It's constantly evolving. And once society doesn't have a need for certain identities, then they fall by the wayside. They always have in the past, and they will in the future. And that's another thing that you have to recognize is people get power in their identities. And if they don't need that as a source of power anymore, then they stop using it and they find other identities to gain power in community. And especially among marginalized people, they find a lot of power in coming together and being able to make our world more equal for all human beings. So stop policing people's identities. You have no right. Stop it. Stop it.
Okay, so we're talking about identities and policing identities. So, as you can see, I am a rainbow unicorn. That's what I am. You can't tell me I'm not because that's how I feel about it. I am a rainbow unicorn. That's kind of the point we're making here. I can feel however I want to feel. Tomorrow, maybe I'm not a rainbow unicorn. Maybe I'm a teddy bear. It's none of your business. Um, Another thing, I identify as bisexual or pansexual, depending on. I guess pan probably fits me better now, but anyway, that's not the point I'm trying to make. Um, some of the like stereotypes people have of bisexuals is they can't make up their minds, or, gee, so you want to have a threesome? Fuck you, okay? um, no, I don't want to have a threesome with you. Yes, I can make up my mind. That just means that I can love anyone. So deal with it. Um, that's my 2 cents on my personal identity and people telling me what I can and can't do. Um, now that Valjean's transitioning, a lot of my friends tell me that I'm a straight girl, and I just tell them to stick it where the sun don't shine, because I'm queer as they come, and that's that. Okay, have a great day.